Leo, welcome to your Intimate Tarot reading. What's up? What's going on? If you're new to the channel, you'd like to know why I read Intimate Tarot, what it's about, what you can expect, and whom it serves, it will be outlined for you in great detail in the description box, yeah? I understand it's not everyone's cup of tea, which is why I go out of my way to outline it, that kind of thing, because it might work for you. I don't know. You'll have to look to try, but just in case, you know? And that's fine. Obviously, sexual topics can go into a space of sensitivity, but I also operate from that philosophy of the more you know. Everything begins with the self, guys, and everybody has different kinds of energy, also our sexual energy. So the idea is how it affects ourselves, therefore, in connection to someone else. That's why I look. That's why we look at inner energies, right? There you go. But yeah, I get it. It may not be your thing, and that's cool too. You know, there's plenty of messages in the back catalog there, organized by playlist if you're so inclined. But yeah, for those of you, you know what to expect, you know what's up. You would tell the new folks they're just like general love readings, but with additional layers of intimacy attached to it, such as sexual energy descriptions, impressions, that kind of thing. All right, there you go. Like always, regardless, you know, take what resonates, leave it does not. Reverse those energies as you see fit. These are general collective readings, not one-to-one private, which is to say they may not suit you at all. Normal. It's frustrating, but it's normal. Check out the placements. You will find yourself in there somewhere. Righty-roo. And once more, happy birthday to you. Right there on the split. Thank you, Spirit. Yes, happy birthday to you. What is it going to be a happy birthday, Leo? Or has it already happened? I hope it was. What's going on? Show me that Leo sexual energy. Show me that Leo sexual energy, please. What's going on? Well, now the fire signs have shown me all sorts of interesting stuff. I read Sag and Aries first today. The last of the fire signs. And you, well, I'm curious about you, absolutely, but Sag and Aries, they were incredibly straightforward. Not the easiest, but still straightforward. So what is going on with Leo? Show me Leo, please. The Hanged Man. The Eight of Wands. Oh, yes. The World. Yeah, I guess I'd be confused too. Page of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles. Yeah. Two of me. Yeah. Judgment. Oh, it's your call. Justice. The Sun's in the outcome. Okay. Yeah, trust it. Right now, your sexual energy is like... Wait. What just happened? So you're in a place of reflection about communication here at the Age of Wands. Is something coming on through? Is it new? Is it coming back? What's up? Because you're like, I don't know. I'm still working out this communication, which has the tones of intimacy in it. Eight of Wands is still fire. What's up? Page of Pentacles for whomever this is. Little guy. No pun intended. I have to say that a lot in Intimate Tarot. And the Ten of Pentacles attached to this person, so I know they prize stability, which is fantastic, or perhaps you two have a shared environment, okay? One that is familiar to you both. The World here, in the shared, is this something we've closed out? Is this something we used to know and it's coming back around, or is it a brand new beginning? Two of Pentacles, Judgment, Justice. Again. Is this a new beginning or is this a comeback call? Judgment, second chance, opportunity, this kind of thing. Justice. Is it going to be fair? The Sun's in the outcome, so your sexual energy feels a lot more warmer and relaxed, regardless of what it is you do or don't do in this situation. So long as you are doing what's right for you in the end, that's all that really matters. But of course, we're here, we got a job to do, so let's take a look. I'm going to actually start with the Eight of Wands first. Let's see that Eight of Wands, please. Once more, an Intimate Tarot represents like that kind of hot communication. The intimacy has the implication behind it, no matter how direct or indirect the words are, right? And then there could be real-world physical activity around it as well. But I'm never really convinced. Like I saw a lot of that with Aries, but as far as I could tell, the actual deed hadn't taken place since then. Let's see the Eight of Wands. Let's see that Eight of Wands. Let's see that Eight of Wands, please. I'm going to not clarify all of these. Some will speak for themselves as we go along. The Stars. The Two of Cups. Yeah. The Three of Wands. Oh, so this was quite delayed. I understand that. Two of Cups, the stars, you know that's a lot of love, and that's a vision of ecstasy. Oh, what's a vision of ecstasy? And a longing too with the Three of Wands. It's not just waiting in this context, it's also longing. Lots of longing for love and high levels of desirability, as well as release here, as we see. Release with the star. Release based on emotional context, emotional intimacy, where two people get it, man. They're swimming in the same cup, and it's just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. Okay. But it took a minute, and it's still taking a minute to roll in. But a longing to generate activity, a longing to generate communication. And by the time it arrives, it kind of knocks you upside down. Like, what was that? So let's take a look at that. Let's see that Hanged Man and see how you're processing this. Because that's a lot of desire. It's a lot of intimate, emotional self in there. Let's see that Hanged Man. You're like, huh. Let's go upside down. Let's see that Hanged Man. Needing perspective. What's up? The King of Wands, that's you, darling. Six of Cups. The Four of Wands. Oh, 'tis a soul bond, but of course it was. What else could it have been? King of Wands, this is someone whom you've thought about millions of times. Embracing. Six of Cups, soul bond. It just hits different. An emotional relationship, one for which turned you on, yes, but you cared for as well with the Six of Cups. In other words, you knew it was a unique connection to you, and you reflect upon it as the Hanged Man. So we had some communication that did take its time to roll in, but once it does, it's going to put you into what looks like a safe, contemplative state. By that I mean you can look at this at your own time. There's no pressure attached to it. About an emotional relationship, bare minimum, that you had with somebody that made you feel warm. It made you feel alive, passionate, but embracing. The King of Wands is very embracing, as appropriately depicted in this deck. Which, by the way, if you want to know the decks I'm using, please refer to the Extra Sassy segment, review the decks, okay? They're all in there. But yeah, that's lovely. That's beautiful. It's quiet contemplation, and it's not assuming. It's non-judgmental on your part. You're just quietly contemplating it. Well, what set that off in motion? Where did that communication come from, or rather who? Before we jump into that world, we're going to go right over here to this little auspicious guy, the Page of Pentacles. Oh, it didn't take much, did it? Let's see that Page of Pentacles. Let's see that page. Show me that page. Ten of Wands, the Chariot, the Seven of Wands. Oh, this is someone who kind of sputtered and started and sputtered and stopped and then started all over again, and they sputtered some more and started and stopped and didn't know if they were coming and going. That's a lot of and a Page of Pentacles. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's hard for this person to move anything forward. And I don't mean that in a sense of disrespect. It's just, there's so much sputtering. Like they have a vehicle here with the Chariot. But when it comes to you, it's like they forget how to turn the damn car on. So no wonder that took a minute to arrive. Because there's times where it's like I can drop an investment. Little guy, Page of Pentacles is nothing. And then it goes to block. It's too heavy. It's too hard. It's a burden. The sexual frustration in this person is very high. But then so too is their willingness to block any sort of activity, investment, something. And yet the Chariot suggests or is demanding, pick a direction then. Do something or don't do something. But stop getting me caught in this, there's nothing I can do, versus I want to do something. It's just too much conflict about direction and what to do. Let's see that Ten of Pentacles, please. Let's see that Ten of Pentacles. Let's see that Ten of Pentacles, please. It goes in direct defiance of the Chariot that says, pick this one or pick that one. Just do it. And they're like 7 of Wands, 10 of Wands. I'm sorry, 7 of Wands. Yeah, 10 of Wands. This is really hard. I want to go somewhere, but no, I don't. I have a lot of sexual tension, but no, I don't. I got to block it. So, okay, 10 of Pentacles. Come on now. God, if I was trying to fly out of my hands, if it's that hard, then they just need to stay away then, because seriously. Okay, seriously, I need people to get consolidated before they do stuff like that, to get themselves so worked up. Honestly. Let's see that 10 of Pentacles, please. 8 of Swords. 9 of Swords. Oh my God, the world. They're reflecting on the world. Oh, they haven't stopped thinking about you since it ended. That's the long story short. No wonder. Oh, it's just too much. It's too much activity. It's just so much. God dang. 8 of Swords, 9 of Swords, the world. A lot of confusion about why it quote unquote ended. It kind of knocked a hole in their theory of stability above all, because they themselves are not stable internally when it comes to this situation. So I can see that they prize stability in their 3D world and things are organized and flowing just so. But they're inside, they're a mess about this connection. An absolute mess. They cannot get on board with themselves about their emotional energy, how it extends itself towards you, their sexual energy, how it extends itself towards you, their thoughts. Okay, let's go ahead and see this world. It's still in the opening position, but it's after the fact. So that tells me they've tried repeatedly to stop trying to feel their way towards your direction and mentally give it up as well, but it keeps coming back as a potentially open cycle, or rather a reopening. Let's see the world. Show me that world. Show me the world. Show me the world. Let's just do it. That's what she said. Let's just do it. Show me the world, please. They're just, honestly, honey, the puns are so easy at Intimate Tarot. It's ridiculous. All right, let's see that world, please. The Knight of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, and the Queen of Cups. Despite the slowness and the massive amounts of bumps in the road, this is coming back around as a possibility for renewal. Just because it's here doesn't mean you have to accept it at all. Tarot is the proof of choice, not the absence of it. The Leo I'm looking at today, you have made a choice to not engage with this right away. Once whatever this finally is coming through, slowly, very slowly, you're going to take your time with it as one should, and you give it the kind of proper reflection and insight that you need to kind of solve this particular puzzle. Do you want to interact with it at all? Don't get me wrong. When this person stops fighting themselves, the chaos that is their mind calms down. The chaos that is their passion. Again, this is what happens when people prize stability this high. When you're not on board with you, you look and feel chaotic on the inside. Okay? I don't know why it's so hard for this person to get connected to themselves about direction, flow, and where they want to be. But it's there. It's finally showing up. I didn't know if it was gonna. But yes, this is an interest in renewal, guys. So again, tarot doesn't dictate choice. You do. I just see your initial reaction is to quietly contemplate this without judgment. You are specifically paying attention to the words used. Okay. Two of Pentacles, it remains. What to do, what to do, what to do. We're going to go ahead and skip that one. Not interested. Let's see Judgment. I want to see the influence behind this. See Judgment. Show me Judgment, please. Show me Judgment. Show me Judgment. Show me Judgment. Let's see Judgment, please. Queen of Pentacles, the Stars, and the Two of Pentacles. I knew I was going to say that guy again. All right, Queen of Pentacles and the Stars, as we opened with over here, the Two of Pentacles. This is why it took forever to come on through. We're talking a couple years at this point. Yeah. We're talking a couple of years at this point. 1 to 2 years after this closed out. Okay. Well, people learn their lessons when they learn them. We really have no control or say in that. All right? That's life. Literally life. It's not really for us to stand by and wait, nor should you, nor would I ever advocate that. I'm saying, obviously, you're not just over here turning yourself blue, holding your breath, right? I'm just jumping into the timeline where this becomes relevant. That's it. So Judgment, 2 of Pentacles, the Star, Queen of Pentacles. You know, this is something you personally have desired, and now you don't know if you desire it anymore, right? And I think the only reason you're giving this kind of an elaborate pause is because you still care for this in some way. Okay? You do. But now that you're saying, now that it's here, I don't know that I want it anymore. Is it a good reflection of me? And I think that's honest. I think that's an honest question. Does this still fulfill your sense of self-love and self-worth? If it does come on back through. So the lesson's actually attached to you. You wanted this to show up in some way, or perhaps reemerge, perhaps in a higher state or a better state. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell because I'm seeing what looks like a very drawn-out process of self-discovery through a lot of internal defiance and shutting down, and then touching back on the subject again just to get fragmented and fall apart all over again. So it's a mess in there. I'm not going to lie. By the time it shows up, it's a very slow arriving momentum of renewed interest and hope with the Ace of Wands, and of course the Passion too, with the Queen of Cups of the loving heart space. So this is a poised cycle. The world is in that position twice. And you have those choices, honey. To completely reopen towards this, completely close it off, and there's a third choice, lest we forget. Do what was done before. And if that's a very unsatisfactory merry-go-round for you, an unhappy prospect, then you can rule that one out. What's the point of going back and doing things the way they were? Because they'll just end up in the same position again. So if you're going to open up towards this, it needs to be under new conditions that are acceptable to you both, or it needs to be agreed upon sooner rather than later to close it out. Okay? It's really hard for me to advise you because this person's coming from such a ass-kicking place of the self for a while. Well, like I said, somewhere between 1 year to 2 years before they understood this is where they were going. It's really hard for me to advise you. Just personally. I just know that once upon a time you would have given anything for this, right? To have a higher context and meaning and calling towards it, and they'd have sort their shit out. And now you're confused. You don't know if you want it anymore. I mean, with all due respect, this is life. This is life. So, let's take a look at justice. Show me justice, please. You know, sexually speaking, you must have thought this person was the bee's knees, right? There's something about the communication that always hit you a particular way. And you said the emotional connectivity. I always felt it with this person. We've known each other a long time. We had an emotional relationship at some point, and you reflect on this. Perhaps, according to this person's energy, it just would not show up correctly or build correctly in the 3D. But the emotional significance to you was always there, including the sexual significance too. And now that it's showing up in the 3D, you don't know if you want it anymore. It's going to be your call. Did you learn what you needed to learn in order to make the correct call on this one, eh? Let's see, justice. All right, then. Let's see, justice. King of Swords, the Six of Wands, and the Nine of Swords. You can't shake the negative feeling. You just can't. Don't get me wrong, part of you feels gratified, as one might expect. Especially after a long-standing, unclear wish seems to be being granted for you. And now you can't help but question it. So while it temporarily feels good, it is temporary feeling. You're like, I don't know if that cuts the mustard by my standards today. So it's like, it does feel gratifying, but I don't know that that makes it correct. I think this is good. I can't really tell you what to do here. I do know that you want a decision for you that's balanced. And you want to stick to it with the King of Swords. And I get it. It's going to feel good for like all of 5 seconds. And then reality hits. This is what I always wanted, or I thought I did. And now that it's here, ... What are you going to do with it? That's what I'm asking you. No, I'm going to put that back on you. You tell me, I don't tell you. Okay? That's how this works. I can try to advise you. Sometimes it's predictive. In fact, it immediately opens up with predictive. This is coming towards you, but it took so long you had no reason to expect it. Why would you? But at the end of the day, you call the shots, honey. Let's see the sun and the outcome. How do you feel? Literally, how do you feel? Let's see that sun, please. Show me the sun, show me the sun, show me the sun. Is this still what you want? Five of Cups, Strength, the Moon. I think no. Don't get me wrong, the sun and the moon is there. That's a divine combination. Spiritual influences and black and white, yin and yangs, the truths, the light, the shadows. I feel like you're much happier where you are as opposed to going back into the past. You know? The Hanged Man was there for a reason. An elaborate pause was there for a reason. And I know you temporarily feel inflated, but that doesn't, Six of Wands, so it doesn't mean that you have any less of an obligation with the King of Swords to figure it out, and you took it seriously about what is fair to you now. Not what have been fair to you or right for you back then, but where you are now. And that's all any of us can do, is measure against ourselves now and not of our desires of the past. And I get your desires for this in the past were very high. And now that it's here, it's not that you don't want it, it doesn't seem to fit you anymore. It doesn't seem to fit you anymore. There's more emotional and sexual disappointment in this than perhaps you understood until it represented itself. There's something about that baggage that I think you were comfortable with until this reminded you of how disappointing it ultimately was. And you can't shake that, and I don't blame you. I don't blame you. When you desire for something that high for that long, and then you're at that point of having gotten over it, or you don't even really remember it the same way anymore, and then it reintroduces itself, yeah, it's going to have a completely different value and context and meaning. We can't just assume we're going to go back to where we've been at all. In terms of, oh yeah, let's absolutely pick this up, even though it took 2 or 3 years for you to sort your shit out, but that's cool. That's cool. Let's totally jump. No. Are wishing upon a star, you probably moved on to other wishes, other stars, other feelings, other desires. You grew, you developed. So when I see you pausing to take your time on this, you do seem to think it's an emotional relationship, but it doesn't seem to bear much promise after that. You seem to be fairly convinced it will just go back to the way things were, or worse, or that it just won't ever be clear. You're saying your desires have much changed, because you have much changed. It is your choice. And if you wanted to know if you learned your lesson, it looks like yes. Whatever this is affected you deeply. I don't think you'd reconnect to it even at a higher level. You don't seem to be convinced that it would anyway. I don't see you reaching towards this. I don't. I don't see you bearing them any ill will. It's kind of like you're saying, I'm happy, and you're not really letting them know that there's just too much disappointment that remains between you two. You're kind of keeping that to yourself, which is, I think, a very Leo thing to do, to be honest. I think if a Leo well and truly has moved on or released this, You know you just want to be happy. You don't need the last word. You don't need to indulge in emotions of the past. But you, for some reason, are keeping it to you. There's too much disappointment. And I didn't understand until you came back around, maybe. But you're keeping that part to yourself. Okay? That was a pretty critical piece right here. Where, like, I need to do what's right for me and not a temporary, momentary satisfaction of I was correct, or I knew this would come back around, or this situation's choosing me now. None of that crap's there. It's temporary. It's more like what's correct for me now. And I think you're asking yourself the correct things. I really do. I don't even know. You might be connected to someone else at this point. I mean, this was left waiting much too long. But no, I don't see you giving to this at all. Just redirecting your energy supply for you, you know? I think you're keeping things to yourself. You don't, that was the key point, honey. Oh my goodness. I'm just going to read these off. Perfect sense. 20, waiting. 9, triumph. 31, surrendering. And nostalgia. So I'm going to go ahead and say you're confirmed in this. It's not that you're rejecting it, so let's change that frame of thinking. It's not that you're rejecting this, you're kindly letting it go. It's saying you're happy. And that you don't need it. But thank you. Thank you for the insight. Thank you for bringing this forward. Thank you for letting me know and catching up. But no, and I'll tell you why. Somebody is coming back around and they're surrendering to nostalgia. Not exactly the Leo of today. It's like the Leo of yesterday. What they missed out on yesterday and who you were yesterday or a year ago or 2 years ago isn't where you are now. So the idea of falling in love with you or wanting to be with you seems to be well after the fact, but you have much changed. And the Leo today wouldn't pick the situation that you would have 2 years ago or whatever it is. I think this person surrendered and fell in love with the nostalgia, which is the 6 of Cups here, when you had already been through that. You can look back on this and say this was much more disappointing than it was being in love. So what you've probably already been through, they're just now going through. Okay. But there's that sense of waiting until you weren't anymore one day. All right. And then there's that weird, and it's slightly small, so I don't think you're taking it out of proportion, but that temporary inflation of triumph. This did indeed come back around, but now that it's here, you don't want it, not to be rude, but because it's just not who you are anymore. Does that make sense? So it's correct. It's 100% correct. I want you to take faith in this. Now, I do need a time check because this is so spun out over time because of this person's high level of fragmentation about what they want and what they're allowing, what they want and what they're allowing. Again, the people who cling to this idea of everything has to be just so, stability, resume energy, I'm not saying that's not important, but it's not a whole way of life. So when we neglect our needs and emotional selves and our mind, things have a way of getting stretched out over time. Okay. A lot. At night. Okay. Within 4 years, I told you. This was not the yesterday. This is more like yesteryears. Within 4 years, guys. So 4 years context with whenever you officially ended this cycle. That's when it comes on through. This is why I tell people, don't wait. People, when you're in love, it's easy to say, I wait and volunteer. Like Katniss Everdeen, right? In the Hunger Games, right? Because she loves her sister, and life was literally on the line. But when you're in love, and you're foolish enough to think I can wait forever, that's one of the most destructive ideas and feelings ever. So if you ask me, there's a little bit of role reversal here. And now that they showed up, you don't want it. I don't want them to wait, though. I don't. But yeah, it's what you no longer wait for is what they're hoping for. within 4 years of that cycle, guys. I think you're going to gently close it. I do. Not participate. I know there's chemistry. No kidding. No, no doubt. I know. Chemistry, a certain level of connecting. Absolutely. Trust. You keep an open mind. Okay. The person here are different. Your soulmate here is different in terms of age, race, ethnicity, culture, background, language, this kind of thing. Trust. We always kind of trusted the chemistry. I think you did. I think this person had a very hard time keeping an open mind to someone who might have been very different from them. And typically soul bonds have a way of presenting that uniqueness, be it on the inside or on the outside, or a combination of those two. One person trusted it. The other person didn't. It was, I believe, too much outside their comfort zone or known existence. Even while their inside was fighting with what was already there. Romantic feelings, that's enough. I get it. By the way, we have here 31, 26, 9, and 20, just in case. We have the letter D, E, T. We have the medallion of Pisces. You might have some very strong Pisces in your chart. Could be connecting to one. And then we also have the Ten of Pentacles, the Tree of Life, the roots that touch many, many things. Oh, I have no doubt. You two have a shared environment that suggests proximity. You have memories together. You built or are part of each other's foundations at one point in time, but it also suggests priorities. They think they know what theirs are, except for when it comes to, you know, the internal self. No big deal, right? And you seem to have a very strong internal sense of this is who I am now. My priorities are much different. Okay. Anyway. Leo, honey, I hope that that helps you. It was a really strong reading in knowing thyself, and I know your sexual energy towards this person once upon a time was fluid, soft, and it felt like it could wait forever until little by little you had to let that go a little bit more as the days, weeks, and months and seasons passed. I don't see any sexual energy in this anymore. Just a kind of soft accepting of disappointment of what couldn't be or wasn't, just not the same anymore. But you kind of keeping it to yourself. So there really isn't a question of what to do with this. It's just more like, no. It's a gentle no, but it's still a no. I hope this helped you. Put in the comments. Take care. Be well.